So we're going to make a walk cycle. And this is going to be a very basic walk cycle. Now you will need your own character or mesh, and you will also need your own root or set of bones. So the first thing you want to do is go into edit mode of your root and choose whatever display you want. I'm going to go with octahedral. Is it? Yeah, octahedral, because it's easier just to show you what I'm doing. But I also really like, I don't really like wire. Actually, I like the stick, but the face gets a little crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the octahedral. If you have your character in a T pose, it's better in an A pose or like a tight A pose. So I'm going to just make sure your X is on and bring that all together, and then you can keyframe that there. And with Blender 5.0, Blender 4.0 should be fine, but Blender 5.0 is a little bit different, I've noticed, for the animation. So there's no pop-up menu that I can find. So if you click on Shift K, and then you can just go clear active set, and then Shift K again, and we're going to set lock raw, just because location rotation is really all that we need for this. You will sometimes need scale, but for this basic one, it's going to speed it up, make it a lot faster. And another thing to keep in mind is the original position of your mesh. It should be not too straight up and down because we don't walk like that. So you can see that she's curved forward a little bit. And I'm just noticing that the feet are not in the same position. Okay. So I'm going to set a keyframe there. And is that all the intro stuff that I wanted? I think so. I want her to take a step forward on her right foot first. So her left side of her body is going to move first. So I'm going to take that left toe, make sure the X is off. And then also the left arm is going to rotate. I'm going to bring this out a little bit so I can bring the shoulder down just a little. And then I'm going to move that elbow. And then we'll go A and insert keyframe. We're going to go to the end here. I'm just using a 24 set of keyframes to keep it simple. So Control C, Control V. Oops. Okay. And then you want to go into the very center here, and we're going to go right click here inside this little area and paste flipped. And then that has already set keyframe. So now what you should have is your character gliding forward, which is a big accomplishment because many times when I do walk cycles, sometimes she's walking backwards. So I feel good about this. And now what we want to do is go to the center of this first one here. We're going to bring her foot up a little bit. And she's going to rotate that foot. Maybe not too high. And we'll go A and insert keyframe, and we'll do the same thing on the left side. I'm going to bring up the foot a bit and then rotate it. And make sure you're on default and not on normal. Okay, so then we'll go A and insert keyframe. Now we'll see what we have. And she's moving, she's going somewhere. And now something else that we really need is a little more movement. So when we walk, we have a bit of a bounce. So when we start off at that contact, like you're moving into the ground, so then you go a little bit lower. And then when we're stepping and that leg is coming up, then we go a little higher. So at this part, just so that we can really see that change, we're going to take the root bone, the very base, and bring that down. And let's see how that looks. And that, you can see the beginning really makes a big difference. So we're going to go Control C, go to the end and Control V that. And now she's really moving. And this is another area where the feet, there is a main contact with both feet on the ground. So we're going to bring that down a little bit as well. Maybe a little lower. Sometimes I like to switch it up from the front first and then the last point. And one other thing that I forgot to mention was when you are starting your, it actually works well because the stance is pretty good, but the width of the feet is really important depending on the garment that you're doing, especially if you're working with cloth animations. You want to have a really wide stance. So it does look a little weird, it looks a little strange, but then once you get it with a cloth, it looks really good. Now, if you're just working in Blender and then you have like a narrow pattern like this, it's going to look a lot better if you have the feet much closer. Like you can see right now, it's way too wide, but I think I would have even a little bit of a wider pant usually, so it will look fine. Now we can start adding a couple little variations to this. And at this point, I would save another copy so that you just have a very base animation that you can jump off of. Let's see, what should we do? Let's add some bend to the arm. So this one is forward. Maybe we'll just bring this one back like a little bit and bring the elbow. Oops. Bring that forward a little. And then also the hand. I'm going to move the finger a bit. Just little tiny movements make a huge difference. So that's not so, everything is not so the same. And then now it's going to collide with the pants. So I'm going to bring this out just a bit. And because this is sort of the next part, I'm not going to make the other side exactly the same because we just want it to have a little more interest. I really like the way that this arm is moving, actually. I don't think I'm going to move anything there. And then the other thing that I like to do is work with the neck and the head, which is the other part of an animation that really brings it to life. So this is where things really start changing, and it can be difficult to go backwards. So yeah, make sure you definitely have that original file saved. So I try not to, don't touch these here. Let's bring her neck down just a little bit here. Maybe to this side a little. So I'm going to insert, whoops. No suitable context. And what did I do? I don't know. And you can see like I said, the animation moves a lot faster in real life once you render it. So all of these movements are going to be pretty quick. So with the head movements, I really like to have them take a while to move. And then from here, we can move this one maybe. Actually, let's go with that. That's the neck. With the head, we'll bring this maybe here. And then Go up a little. And then I'll delete this one. See how that looks. So now you can see if you have a walk cycle that's like 15 seconds long and you have this the entire way, it's going to look a little bit, it looks a little strange. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of anything else that we could change before we move on. I think it's not too bad. So for the next part that I would do, oh, and then another thing, you can offset this by 1, but I just like to leave it, once you render, you kind of want to have that offset by 1, but I like to have everything equal. It's just a little bit easier. So what I would do at this point is make that 48, and then you're gonna have this one, whoops, here, and then you want to copy all of these, so 6, so to 30, and then paste that there. And now this is where things get kind of exciting, because you can really make a lot of changes. So again, for the head here, you could delete this one and then move this one here, and then maybe this one, she's looking here again, and just make sure you set that. See, that's too many, and then I can just delete that one. And then again with the neck, generally you should kind of keep them the same. I have often run into problems with these two, but the best thing you can do is just start deleting things so that it's just a little bit more of a natural movement. And then at this point, you can also start changing the arms. So maybe now here it's a little bit more forward. And then hand comes in a little bit, and then the thumb and the finger are moved, and then A. I know it's really tedious, but it really does make a difference in having like a very kind of natural walk cycle. And I think that, how long is this? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I didn't do anything about spring bones or anything like that, but that's like another element that really brings it to life. But if you have just a couple movements here, it really is going to help your animation. And then move that. It was a little too extreme. And then one last thing you could do is when these feet come forward, you can move them a little closer. See how that looks. It's not too bad. You can do that with the other side too. But anyways, I think that will be it for this, and I will see you in the next one.